Tsukuha Bokuden was one of the most lethal samurai in Japanese history. He was undefeated and his legend lives on to this day. The owner of this car has named it after that mighty warrior. I now present the Bokuden Z.
So it makes 520 wheel horsepower and 468 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. It already had the swap that I wanted, and it was the car that I wanted, and all I wanted to do was make it look nice. That was the plan, because I wanted to buy a car that was already swapped with an RB25. The guy did a horrible job with the swap. But it was painted actually John Deere tractor black, okay. And had most of the original interior in it. And the first thing I did was completely gut the interior and took it down to bare metal, because these things have terrible rust problems. So I inspected the car thoroughly for rust, took it down to bare metal, and put all brand new interior in it, new sound deadening material, POR 15, the floorboards, everything inside. And then 2 weeks later, the engine blew up. It's kind of shady how that all went down. I had some electrical problems, and I reached out to the local community to help me with the electrical problems, because I'm a terrible mechanic. I don't enjoy working on cars. I like driving them, and I'm just a mechanic. So I reached out to some local guys that were experts in RB25s, and this guy said he would help me, and I said cool, and I drove the car over to his house, and a few days later he called me on the phone, stranded on the freeway because he was hot rodding my car, and had a catastrophic oil leak and it spun a bearing. So I had to go pick it up on the freeway and tow it home. And since that person is a fellow military member, I didn't seek to get anything from him. I just was very upset because he denied the whole thing after blowing my car up. But yeah, so that's when I pulled the engine out and proceeded to build the engine over the next 6 months here in my garage. So it's an RB25 Series 1. The bottom end is built. It's got Molly pistons, Manley rods, ACL bearings, ARP everything. It's got a Tomei head gasket. The head is pretty much stock other than a rear head drain. It's got CX Racing exhaust manifold, turbo manifold. It's got just they call it a Freddy or a fake Greddy intake manifold with that top secret badge on there. It's got a Precision 5858 Gen 2 ball bearing turbo. It's running Haltech Elite 2500 ECU. It's got Haltech Flex Fuel. Mostly run E85 in it. I don't put gas in it ever. I've ran gas one time in it. Love pump E85. It's a huge thing. It's got injector dynamic 1050X injectors. It's got a radium fuel rail. It's got, what else it got? It's got a PRC Racing dual pass radiator, CX Racing front mount intercooler. So Darden tuned it. I think he's out of San Diego. He tuned it a few months ago on his dyno and put down 520 at the wheels and 470 foot-pounds of torque. With a full tank of gas, it weighs about 2,500 pounds. It's had lots of issues. One of the flywheel bolts came undone and wouldn't go into gear for a while. We're trying to figure that out. It's had electrical problems where the alternator was overcharging the system for a while. Couldn't figure that out. We had to bring it to an alternator specialist here in Oceanside. It's had it's had a lot of problems, man. It's had I didn't even know it, but you know, when you get a car like this, you just have to do like the most thorough inspection on it ever, which I never really did. And I went racing up a mountain with my buddy one time in this car, and I didn't even know that the gas pedal was literally held in by one screw the entire time we were racing up and down the mountain. And I got home and the gas pedal was making like a weird creaking noise, which it never made, and I got down there and I was like, oh, I just raced up and down a mountain as fast as I could with one screw that was barely holding in my gas pedal. It was ridiculous.
Now, in most of my videos, I'm about getting my foot all the way down to the ground, but this is a different experience. The car is noisy. You can hear every little sensation, every little bump you go over, you can feel it, you can hear it, every single sound of the engine, you know, the tappets, the lifters, that turbo, that precision turbo is absolutely nuts. Now, I need to be very careful. This car weighs 2,500 pounds according to the owner, and it produces 520 wheel horsepower. That is a monstrous amount of power for this small car and this light car. So basically, even when you touch the throttle, you are flying. Listen to this. Here it goes. Spools, 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 spools. There's a little bit of lag, but it's just so much fun. I'm going to hit it again. Here we go. This is just, it's mental, it's bonkers, it's insane. You know, it doesn't weigh a lot, as I said before, so there's not much inertia at all. You know, you can feel it. It just glides from lane to lane. Suspension is bumpy, but it's not that harsh. You know, I don't feel uncomfortable. It's all part of the experience. I'm immersed in this experience. That clutch is the most brutal clutch that I've ever experienced. Okay, the owner told me, under no circumstances must I hit the gas when I'm going around the corner. And the amount of time and effort that is put into this car, I can understand why. Okay, we're going down into second, if I may. And I'm about to punch it, here we go. Endless power, brutal, insane, monstrous power. I mean, it takes some time to get used to. And at first, I'll be brutally honest, when I first started driving the car, I was scared, but the more miles I put on, the more time I sit in it. I'm starting to get a bit more used to it and a bit more comfortable with the power that this car has.
It's had some leaky injectors. I could go on all day with little issues that have plagued me with this car since I bought it, but they're all done now for the most part. You know, it's running better now than it ever has ever. So that's what stokes me is you know, every time the car would go down, it was like, it almost made me depressed, you know, like, because I wanted to go drive it so bad, and it wasn't running for one reason or another over the past year since the motor's gone in. So now that it's running perfect, I drive it as much as I can. I take it to work and, you know, take it to the store or whatever. But it's finally there.
Okay, first. Second. Third. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Now the speedometer doesn't work. So I've got no guilt over speeding. This is the most unadulterated driving experience ever. Hard on those brakes. Brakes work well. Wow. I'm trying to really convey to you guys what it's like to drive this car. I mean, in terms of speed, there's not much other that I've experienced that is this fast. Yeah, boy! Backing it on, man. Yeah, boy! I totally get why a car is built and not bought. I mean, this is the epitome of built but not bought. Every single time you touch that accelerator pedal, it's an adrenaline rush. You have to be an adrenaline junkie to own this car, to actually want to drive this car, because if you're not ready for that rush of adrenaline, there's no point in getting in the car. Well, I've got to say, this is one of the most memorable driving experiences I've ever had. The fact that this is a vintage car, you know, 1974, with a relatively modern powertrain, so it's the RB25 from possibly an R32 or R33 Skyline GTST, and it really matches this car, and I like the whole ethos of a modern, relatively modern Japanese engine in an old Japanese car. I mean, I think it's great.
So it's got the BC coilovers with Swift springs. I think it's 8K rear, 7 in the front, which is pretty stiff for a car this small. But actually rides very smooth. It's not bouncy. I have it at the stiffest setting right now, and I like stiff cars. I like stiff settings with suspension. It feels really good. It also has Apex engineered front and rear lower control arms. It's got, you know, the wheels are Meister CR01 wheels with Toyo R888R tires. 225, 45 in the front, 255, 50 in the rear. The front wheels are 16/8, the rears are 16/9.
I'm gonna lose it in third, here we go. It's insane, man.
I told you, man. She wants to go. Keep on going.
Hats off to you for this build, man. It's fantastic. Okay, let's get it turned off.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I don't think I said a lot when I was recording. I was just too busy trying to keep it straight.